Hi, welcome to Down to Earth Mystic. I'm Karen, and my guest today is Alyssa. She's a healer, astrologer, teacher, and medium. So, Alyssa, how did you get started with everything that as a healer to start out with?
Well, I just knew as I was growing up that I had a great amount of compassion and empathy and sympathy for others and animals, and I just couldn't stand seeing anybody in pain. I had to help. I had to always help. But when I was young, I knew I had. It's like you know you don't know you have gifts, but you know something's different about you. So I always grew up feeling like I was always feeling like there was something wrong with me, but that at the same time, I felt like I just knew I could do something, but I really didn't know exactly what it was. But I was always watching for, um, I was always looking for hurt animals, and if someone in my family was crying or upset, I always had to help. I was the peacemaker. I wasn't really happy unless everyone in my family was happy, which, can be not very happy. Uh,
Of
so,
course.
so I knew, when I was really little that there was something going on.
Very cool. What got you into astrology?
Um, that's a good question because it was something that I did for so many years as just an interest as a hobby. And from personal experience that love to say to my friends, hey, let me look at your chart. I think it's because it's a mixture of, being able to look at something tangible. Being able to say, okay, my birthday is this day, and that means X. And it I don't ever look at it as putting us into any kind of box, but I find it very helpful to have a foundation. I call it a blueprint. And so, again, it just really started as a keen interest. And then I grew a little frustrated because I never really knew of any astrologers that would do what I ended up doing. I wanted someone to look at my chart and tell me things about myself that I didn't know and give me spiritual guidance and give me an idea of what I signed up for. And so, really, with that frustration and that interest, it drove me to learn everything I could learn. And then I ended up, through help, actually, you really had a big impact on bridging me doing it on the side so much behind the scenes to actually doing it for clients. And then it's actually my astrology readings with intuitive guidance. I do that more than anything now because it's so popular and it's super informative.
And you're so good at it. I agree. It is very informative to kind of have like what the stars say about you as what's stable and then also to know like what's coming up and to know what to prepare for. And it's like when you know something um that you might be about to go through, it's so much easier than just bam, there it is. So I've appreciated all the help you've given me since we've known each other. It's been really cool, really helpful.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I mean, it's nice. I mean, and it's not always going to tell you everything. And there could be influences that look like, wow, something big's coming. And then you might say, well, nothing really happened. But it's always an influence. So it doesn't necessarily mean for sure. But there are times where it is straight up, no kidding, boy, that was right on. And it has our life path and astrology. um, we have so much more to our lives, divine
Mhm.
order, paths and contracts and all kinds of stuff. But it is really cool when you have a bit more of a guidepost, right?
Yeah, totally agree. It has been quite
So,
helpful. Yeah, and it's fun too, which is really important. All right, how did you realize you were a medium?
oh, I love answering that question because that's so near and dear to my heart. So, I was told many, many years ago by a few different people that I was going to be channeling and that I had the ability to channel spirit. And I don't know. I was like, really? Oh, that's cool, And I really think looking back now that I've always been a medium. Actually, all of us are mediums. You are, we all are, because we're all connected. But as far as the gift of actually being that bridge between the physical and the spirit world, and being able to focus in and get evidential information, I had always had in the back of my mind that that was something I was going to be doing, but I just didn't really have anyone in the spirit world that I knew of that I particularly was very keen on connecting with. And then it all changed when my brother passed away. So when my brother passed away, it just clicked, and I knew there was no way I was going to not hone my skills, because I so badly wanted to be able to connect with him and really, really connect with him, learn everything I could. So I immediately started training, and I've been training ever since. And you know, his passing was the catalyst for sure. So now I do galleries, and of course I talk to him in spirit. And what was so, I'll say it's fun, you know, your loved ones don't die, they're not gone, they're just on a different
Sure.
frequency. So it's actually been a wonderful experience, as sad as I am that my brother is no longer here in the physical. To be able to still connect with him and on a higher level is just beautiful. And so that's been just incredibly rewarding. And I feel like he and I are actually closer now. It's just so fun, because it opened up the door for me to get to know more people in spirit that were, I think, waiting to connect with me, you know, consciously, where I knew who they were. And so now I have so many people in spirit that I communicate with. It's just fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure the everyone watching is gonna want to know, what do you do to train to become a medium?
Lots and lots of practice. So I started taking actual classes to learn from the very foundational level of mediumship. So I took, classes over months to develop. You start with psychic development, and then mediumship. And then once you learn the skills of, okay, and there's many ways, but this was one way, to learn how to, you know, we have to raise our vibration and listen, and you know, the spirit world will communicate with us and all kinds of different ways, and we all receive information differently. So it was you know what it really is about? It's about trusting what you perceive. Do you have a flash of a dog? Okay, well, that means something. The spirit world will communicate with us in symbols. And, you know, again, we all have different gifts and all have it different ways. So the way I was taught, and I think this is a really good way, is to learn how to trust what you're
Hmm.
receiving, you know, learn how to raise your vibration, get yourself into a place of love, open up your heart, and then get used to it, get used to the feeling of the spirit world drawing close. And again, it's really an act of getting to know yourself too, in addition to trust, because you don't know what you don't know. So when you first start mediumship, it's like, am I, you know, you just don't know. And then it takes and then one of the biggest fears of a medium is, am I making this up? You
Yeah.
know. And so it really, again, takes a lot of practice. And so what I do still consistently is I participate weekly in a mediumship circle with some close medium friends of mine that I've done a ton of training and travel with. I mean, we've gone as far as to the Netherlands to get classes, and I take ongoing classes for development. So I've been to Camp Chesterfield, which is a spiritualist school in Indiana, many times, de Swanenhof in the Netherlands, and many local activities. So to make a long story as short as possible, which that wasn't very short, it's a lot of practice, lots of practice. Yeah.
I completely agree. The trust is a big one because, like you said, we're all mediums, and it is
Yeah.
gaining that trust to believe that you are actually connected. And the more you do it, the more you realize, wow, this is a cool gift.
It is. It's so fun. And um, there's days where a medium may, feel a little off, and then there's days where you feel like you get names and all kinds of information. And
Hmm.
one of my favorite things is when I'm, say, doing a gallery, which is a group of people I'm working with, and let's say I get the name, that their loved one comes in, I get their name, and I get very clear information. The connection is beautiful. And when I look into the audience and I see my guest and they're getting a tear in their eye, and you can feel the connection, and they're so blessed by that connection, and the spirit world is blessed too. I mean, it's a healing in itself. And to see that look in my
Hmm.
guest eyes, and when they get that heart connection, it's priceless. It's absolutely priceless. So it's just incredibly rewarding, to be that bridge.
Yes, I agree. I've experienced that from this perspective of being in the audience.
Yeah.
That was very emotional for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the spirit world wants so badly to connect with you and their loved ones, because how many mediums are there that do this? So,
Hmm.
again, we're all mediums, and anybody, can learn this. It's just a matter of the dedication and the practice. But, imagine the spirit world, how precious it is for them to be able to work with the medium and to be able to connect with their loved one and just remind them that they're okay. And boy, they're better than okay. We're the ones who are still away from home, so to speak. They're home and they're doing great. So but they know we worry, and it's just, it's the
Hmm.
out of sight, out of mind. And I don't mean that they're out of mind, but because we can't necessarily see them, feel them. I mean, we can sense them, but you know what I mean. We
Oh
can't
yeah.
see them like I see you. And it then culminates a sense of a loss, of course, and
Hmm.
in our consciousness. And it's just very, very difficult. No matter how aware we are of the spirit world, it's still, there's huge loss. I mean, I miss my brother terribly, even though I know he's probably right there. He's probably talking to me. um, but it's just, it's so important to be able to bridge the two worlds. And
Hmm.
I really strongly believe emphatically that much healing occurs not only for us but also for our loved ones, because they're still evolving on the other side too.
Yeah. Very cool. It's good to know.
Yeah.
So Alyssa, before we get to the part of how everyone can get in touch with you to schedule with you, is there anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, I really want to talk a little bit about what's going on right now, with the
Okay.
COVID-19. I have the privilege of working with my own mediums and spiritual people that help me with my stuff, because we all need our own people.
Hmm.
And I want to share just a few words of wisdom from one of my wonderful guides. I'm looking up at him right now. I've got a picture of him on my wall. But I've asked the spirit world, what is this about? What is COVID? Is there a spiritual purpose? What is going on spiritually? And so I want to share some of the wisdom and some of the information that I received. And it's wonderful. And the information that I was told emphatically, is that the world is not going to end. This is not the end of the world, and that it is really a time for pause and reflection, to
Hmm.
meditate, to contemplate, and it's not, oh, you must do it this way or you must do it that way. It's a time to focus on really what is most important. I was told that the COVID-19 is an opportunity, and this is obvious to everyone, but this came from the spirit world. So I think it's important to say that this is an opportunity for families to grow closer. You know, I was told, and again, we're all aware of this, that we're all so busy and we're, you know, running to work. Many of us commute, you know, spend hours on just the highway commuting in traffic, and spend so much time away from our loved ones. And um, and there's just so much separateness, you know, with families, kids rushing to all kinds of different events. It's just chaos. And the bottom line is, you know, there's more depression, stress, anxiety, and a lot of it is due to this separateness that's going on. You know, you live in the same house with these people, and but yet you're not really there for each other. It's just
Hmm.
go. You know, we're addicted to our phones, we're addicted to, you know, TV and the news and all that stuff. So again, this is an opportunity for families to grow closer. You know, we were forced to stay home, and now corporations and companies, I feel like they're softening. Some of their hearts are softening, maybe not all of them, but now that even the CEO, you know, the leader of these large companies has been affected, and they're seeing that there's the opportunity to have more flexibility with scheduling and
Hmm.
being more flexible with their people, and they're going to realize that, oh, their company is not going to fold because their workers are remote. They're actually going to see more productivity and more of their, you know, the community within their companies actually being so much happier and healthier. And long term, they're going to see, you know, it's going to be, you know, how there's a saying that treat your employees as you would your best customer, and that's
Hmm.
how you have a very successful business. And that is following along with the same lines as what I'm talking about, is because it's that instance now. The, you know, the single moms who had to put their kids in daycare, now they can work from home. It's not so horrifying if your
Hmm.
child walks behind the screen when you're on a Zoom call. You know, it's becoming so much more flexible, and being at home is not, you know, I remember when I used to work from home many years ago in my corporate job, I was scared to tell my customers that I worked from a home office, because it was like, you know, ooh. But now it's the norm. And so the bottom line is that things will start lifting, things will start
Hmm.
getting back. But I was told that things will never be the same, but it's going to be by choice. We all have learned, okay, we need to keep our priorities, and we're going to be much more, we're not going, I think we're not going to be so concerned about saying to our company, hey, you know, I would really like some flexibility, and they're going to be more productive, and it's
Hmm.
going to be a benefit to everyone. So another thing I want to say is, um, this is a time for us to be calm, to do our very best, because, you know, there's a lot of fear out there, to do our very best to stay calm, to know this again is not the end of the world. This is an opportunity for us to balance our lives, for us to have a little more time, not so much running here and there, but being able to breathe, being able to get centered, maybe take some time to meditate, maybe even just contemplate. And then besides doing your very best, all of us doing our very best to balance our lives more, to not feel responsible for the plight of the world. It is so important for us to just focus. I'm not saying don't care. I just want to make sure I emphasize that. But what I was told is, beyond taking care of, um, you know, making sure our loved ones are good, and of course taking care of ourselves, it's important to not feel like I'm or you or any one individual is responsible for the entire plight of the world. You know, we have to, we hear this all the time, but we need to make sure we ourselves are in a place of love, forgiveness of ourselves, forgiveness of
Hmm.
others. And that's how we help heal the world. Because if we're stewing inside with anger and fear and worry and anxiety, we are doing no one any good. That's how we do the most harm, but that's also how we do the most good. So we actually have tremendous control. We think we have to look outwardly to fix problems, but inwardly is how we really resolve this. Is every person took responsibility and was kinder and more forgiving and less judgmental of themselves too and others, then this would all be so much easier. And one more thing, I keep thinking of things that I was told. One more thing is that I was told by one of my doctors in spirit is, because my question was, where's the truth? Who do I listen to? There's so much information out there. And he said if you hear someone say, well, we think this, he said, don't listen to that. But if you hear something to the point of, well, research points to this, then that is something that is a little more real, based on more research. But if you get we think this, or our opinion is this, that's not as real. I was told not to listen to that, because again, we're trying to figure out what to listen to. But it's really about being strong and safe in our center, and being loving and kind, and contemplating how we are going to let this make us all more loving, more kind, kinder to ourselves too, kinder to our families, keeping our priorities in order, and then everything will unfold beautifully, so much better. So this is an opportunity for us to really make it, to instead of looking at this inconvenience, looking at it as a beautiful opportunity.
That was a really awesome message, beautiful advice, and great insight. Thank you for sharing.
I have a wonderful team. Thank you.
Nice. Okay, so now for the part everyone's been waiting for. How does anyone get in touch with you to schedule a reading with you or a session with you? Because you've clearly expressed your expertise and knowledge, and everyone's probably wanting to join in and work with you.
Thank you. The best way to reach me is to go to my website. And my website is my name, AlysaLoper.com. So it's AlysaLoper.com. I'm also on Facebook. It's Alysa Loper - There Is Hope. So that would really be the easiest way, because you can look on my website and see everything I do. I have a bit about what I've done, my background, my training. I have some testimonials, because, we all want to check out and make sure these people we're contacting have some happy clients. And I also have a listing of my services and, of course, the price. But you can reach me through my website. I have links to contact me and my phone number and all that. Right now, I'm doing Zoom calls mostly. It's cool because when I do the astrology intuitive readings, especially, I can connect with my clients on Zoom so we can see each other, but also I can share my screen and I can show them their chart. So it's a really good visual. So I might continue to do a lot of Zoom readings just because they're fun, and we have this cool virtual background, and we can play. But that'll probably be a continuing thing. And then I have, international clients actually. So we do Skype.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, well, and also, I'm sorry, I want to say, for anyone who watches this, I'll be happy to provide a 20% discount off of my services if you say you saw this interview with Karen.
Awesome. That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your day to let everyone know about your knowledge and your expertise, and hanging out with me through Zoom. So
thank you.
Thanks again.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.